Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, well. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Ben. How are you?
Awful. How are you?
Tired, sore head, slight indigestion, grumpy. Pretty much a normal day.
Yeah, I was up till 5:30 this morning with bad back and my right shoulder partially dislocated. And I am happy to report that I have not fully relocated my shoulder.
Okay.
I can't lift my arm above my head properly at the moment. It really
I used to be able to lift my arm right up to there, but I can only lift it to here now.
Beats Crate says Ben robbed John hats now. No, same hat. Same hat. Still my Poundland hat. I just must be wearing it better, I guess.
So tell me about this strange headline you have about Mr. Z going to Washington. What's all this about?
Well, Vladimir's obviously not finished his Christmas shopping, John.
Oh, Jesus. It's Olena or whatever her name is. Olena. It's probably pronounced something like Olena.
Olena.
Not without the Japanese connotation, but
Olena.
You know what I mean. So is she going with him, do you think?
Probably, but Vladimir has done a super secret trip to Washington, hasn't he?
Yeah. What? Why is he floating about Washington when he's bombing his own people in Donetsk? Oh, did I say that out loud?
You said the quiet bit out loud, John. You said the quiet bit out loud.
Oh dear, oh dear. So, yeah.
Now, there's a name I haven't seen in the chat for a while. Good afternoon, everybody, by the way. And good afternoon, Obin1. Haven't seen you in a while.
Although indeed.
Yes, but yes, Vladimir is apparently addressing Congress tonight.
Oh, fucking hell. So he's begging for money, you mean? He's like the world's best paid beggar.
Listen. Someone's got to pay for the Christmas shopping.
No, yeah, and you know who it is? You and me. Well, me more than you, but...
Yes, indeed. So Trudy said I sounded very echoey. That should be rectified by now. That should be rectified. I've been doing some sound stuff for tomorrow night's show, and I left the filter on. So I apologise about that in advance. That is repaired. We will go forwards. This is a slightly cobbled together show today, isn't it, John? Because we didn't do a show yesterday.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? How dare you disparage our efforts, our manic and very, very time-consuming and productive efforts that go into making this the show that it is, that goes to make this a success that it is.
Yeah.
How dare you? How
dare you?
How dare you?
Do you know what I was about? I was about to praise you. I was about to fucking praise you.
That's fine. I'm just going to go straight into the launch. I'm just going to say I'd like to welcome one and all to this episode 177 of Dissent Live with me, John, and that other guy who doesn't think, he thinks we've just cobbled it together.
It's about to fucking praise you, you arsehole! This is actually our second to last weekday show before Christmas, isn't it, John?
Yeah, because we've only got one more tomorrow.
Yep. One more
this
tomorrow.
Is the penultimate weekday show before Xmas? No, I don't like Xmas. Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Before the big man comes. Before the big man comes.
May you have a Merry Christmas, indeed.
Yes, we will extend our Merry Christmas to you on Friday night, more so when we're both pissed out of our tree, because, yes, I am going to get pissed during All In this week, I think.
Oh my God.
Well, it's Christmas, isn't it?
It is indeed.
I was considering doing it tomorrow night, but then I thought, well, if I'm spending the
Jesus Christ.
evening doing songs and stuff for people, don't really want to do that drunk. So
Yeah, I know. I mean, you've got to be very careful because, I mean, your style is probably best described as pub singer-ish, and if you got drunk, it would probably be right over the edge.
could be quite fun, actually, couldn't it?
Sorry, I'm only joshing. You know
But it could be that could be quite fun. That could be quite fun.
It'd be like listening to a bunch of hounds.
Yeah, Oben one says quality bubble on that hat, John. Not a pound shop hat for sure.
No pound shop hats for me, mate.
No,
I stole this off my wife.
he did. And if you know anything about wives, it's that they generally don't buy the pound shop hat. You go to them, let's get the cheap one, dear, and they go, oh,
That's the wrong side. It's this side, isn't it?
I don't think it really matters, to be honest.
No, I'm just.
Are you
Oh,
trying
that's
to finger
nice,
your
man.
bubble?
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Are you trying to finger your bubble, John?
No, I was just trying to rearrange my floppy bit on the hat.
See, I
Does
just
it
put
look
mine over
better?
the back today because I could put it like that, but it just
Yeah,
doesn't have the
your
same
floppy
impact,
bit's-
does it?
Your floppy bit's too short. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, it came from the fucking pound shop, John.
Yeah, I know, and it's a question of quality, mate. And this is why I don't quite understand why people don't donate to us more, because the quality's there. The quality is there, people.
It is. It is there. It is
Do you
there
like
for
that
all
plug?
to. I liked it too, and you
Good
know,
segue, isn't it?
Good segue indeed. But should we go into the news? Should we start with the news?
Yeah, go on.
Right. I'm about to reveal the first slide. I haven't looked at any of these, so here we go.
Someone said Ben
Of course, we
sings-
start in here.
Someone said Ben sings in the style of Vic Reeves.
But you'll come and watch it, won't you, Vaughan?
Of course he will. He likes Vic Reeves.
Yep.
Right, yeah, well, here we go. So, I mean, the headlines yesterday were horrendous.
Oh yes.
You know,
Slow news day.
yeah, well, slow news day. Disease sweeps through Yorkshire, you know. It's just like COVID, but people are testing negative. Have you ever considered you might have caught the cold?
You might caught cold, yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have gone away. Still there. It
No.
could be a coronavirus. It could be a rhinovirus,
Yeah, or an adenovirus.
or an adenovirus. It could be a combination of all three, perhaps.
It could be a combination
But
of all three.
Yeah, you get the cold, and the thing is, right. So let's break this down a little bit. I
Right.
mean, we won't go too far, but let's just break it down a little tad, right? So worst ever winter lungie that feels like COVID. Now there's a problem straight away, because so far, as much as I have tried to identify it, there isn't a single symptom or stack of symptoms or even a description of how you feel that adequately describes COVID, because it causes absolutely freaking everything.
I was going to say the series of symptoms just increases by the month, doesn't it?
I know. Yeah. So I just can't get behind that statement. I think this is not great reporting.
Well, let me try and have a stab at it, because here's what I think is happening. The general populace have been brainwashed to think everything is COVID, right?
Yeah, they have.
They've spent the last 2.5 years, the only illness that they've heard about is COVID. So when they go, it feels like COVID, they're probably, in their own minds, not lying. Because
Yeah.
they've been told that I mean, who remembers COVID toe? Do you remember COVID toe, John?
Yeah.
If my toe falls off, is it COVID?
Well, it's more likely to be frostbite.
Yeah, I'm just
Or
asking.
gangrene.
I'm just asking because,
Well, but yeah, probably.
you know, at the end of the day, I've had a very bad back. My shoulder's still partially out at the moment. Is it COVID shoulder?
Well, it could be.
Everyone in the house has got the lurg, by the way. I'm the only...
I'm not seeing that, right? So people are reporting that the more people seem to be sick than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I did venture to say, is that a question of more people are reporting they're sick than ever, or are they actually sick?
Well, my household is pretty sick.
But let me finish, if I may.
You may.
But people are saying that no, it's a question that they are seeing more actual sick people, physically sick people, and I'm not seeing that up here because we're not getting the same amount of sickness that I would expect at this time of the year among the populace.
I will say that there are a lot of people coughing and spluttering everywhere you go here at the moment, down on the south coast, and it's normal winter, isn't it? Like,
well, yeah. See, that's it. I mean, how do you know? I mean, it's all very subjective, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Unless you go around. If you go around with a clipboard 3 years ago and went, cold, 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 right, and then you compared it to today, how different would it be? You don't know. That's the problem, because you think, oh, there's a lot more people ill this year than there was last year, but is there? Is there really?
Well, you don't know. That's the thing. You just don't know. One thing I will say is, and this I can say with a massive amount of certainty, by the way, I'm seeing far more sick people now than I did see in March and April of 2020.
Oh, I watched a video today that...
Right.
But I want to discuss it with you before we bring it to the channel.
Okay.
To see if we think we could actually put it up now.
So let's put a pin in that.
Yeah, let's do that.
And have that discussion after the show.
Yeah, we would have had that discussion in the morning meeting, but Ben was obviously struggling.
I was laid up on the couch with a Paw Patrol blanket on my phone, doing the morning meeting on video. And the first thing he said to me, what did you say to me when I came into the meeting?
You look like shit.
Yeah. Yeah. He did say that. And then so what I did was I sorted myself out, took a copious amount of medication, and had a lovely bath.
Lovely bath.
Exactly right. Whoever 11, let's put a pin in it.
Yeah, let's put a pin in it. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of moving on, we'll move on to the man that keeps making himself the news. Mr.
Yes,
Musk.
Doesn't he? Yeah, well, hey, so, I mean, I put the big word trust there because I don't trust him. Because he's not done, well, I don't think he's going to stand down, is he?
Well, he has said that when he finds a successor, he's going to become the head of software and something else, and step away from the CEO role. And do you know what? I actually do believe that.
Oh yeah, I believe that, but he's not going to do it right now. It's going to be 3 or 6 months down the line.
But not only that, this whole "it was a trick to catch bots" things is not true. I don't think.
No, it's not true.
But I also do think that when someone brought to his attention that this poll was probably being swarmed by bots, and suggested the policy decision to only let blue verified vote in policy polls, something I actually agree with, by the way.
Yeah, he did kind of jump on it.
Because let's face it, as blue verifieds, and my wife is one of them, and I pay for it, right? So we've got some money in the game. We've got some money in the Twitter game.
Some skin in the game.
So I think that anybody who does have some money in the game should be able to vote on policy decisions. And I think that people that don't want to pay shouldn't. I think that's absolutely fine. It's not a publicly traded company. Ultimately, they don't have to do any of it. But if they're going to offer that option out, then I think the people that are putting their money where their mouth is and putting their trust in the company with their own finances should have a better say.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and it doesn't matter whether it's publicly traded or not. It's still a private company, so they can do what they choose.
Exactly, and I think that they should have done that from the word go. And I also think if that poll had been run with only blue verifieds voting, it would have been overwhelmingly do not step down, because blue verifieds are only blue verified and paying the money because of him.
Now, I wouldn't normally ask this.
Right.
Did you vote in that poll?
Well, the wife did, yeah.
Well, okay, the wife did. Do you know what she voted?
She voted no.
Okay.
She didn't want him to step down.
Okay, I'm just asking. That was all.
Well, I think that
I voted.
What did you vote for?
I voted yes.
I'm not shocked.
I'm not sure that he's doing the. I'm not sure he's making sensible decisions. Even just now. I mean, yes, the platform is better, but I'm still not convinced he's making the correct and sensible decisions in order to push the platform further down, the proper route to free speech, because it seems to still be free speech on his terms.
Yeah, and it seems to be a popularity vote for who gets their account back.
Yeah,
because once again,
it does, yeah.
I have another rejected appeal yesterday. You saw it, right?
And I'm just waiting on mine to come in rejected.
It doesn't make any sense. A general amnesty for all banned accounts, he said, that didn't break the law. Yeah. I never broke the law, and in fact, I never did the things that they claimed I did in the first place. And yet...
I know. You know what? There's no point banging on about it. They'll either do it or they won't do it, and you know what? It's not the end of the world.
It's free speech or it's not. There's no middle ground.
I mean, Twitter's not our business model, and that's good because although they provide information to us in a handy, small, bite-sized, digestible form, the information's still available even if we weren't on Twitter, or even if Twitter blew up and wasn't
Aren't they
available.
about to increase the character limit to 4,500 characters on tweets?
That will kill Twitter.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
I can't. No, that's just crazy. Why would you want to do that?
I mean, it started off as 140 characters, then they doubled it to 280, right? Yeah. And now they're looking at the idea of taking it up to, I think, 4,500.
Why? 4,500's a fucking essay.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I can see the rationale behind it, and the rationale behind it is they want to take the space of all the other social media platforms, right? And microblogging is not for everybody, so I understand that.
Well, have a separate tab.
Well, yeah.
Don't put 4,500 word posts on the
Mr. Jungle says he's competing with Substack, etc. Yeah, that is what he's doing.
Yeah, fucking Substack. He's not competing with Substack at all.
He wants to take the market share of every other social media platform. He's going to try.
He's going to try, but he's not going to manage it. I mean, let's face it. Twitter's the underdog already. It starts from a position of. It starts from a position that is lower than the lowest.
I was going to say, I believe it.
When TikTok suddenly looks like it wants to be YouTube, I think he's really going to have a big fight in his hand because that's got the might of the CCP behind it.
Absolutely. And that's terrifying, by the way.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Imagine that. The content that you see is curated, censored, and decided on by a company that's run by the Chinese Communist Party. Because that's not a fucking recipe for disaster, is it?
No, not at all.
No, but there we go. Shall we move on to our next story? Jean-Pierre.
Speaking about recipes for disaster, Sideshow Bob here. Right?
Where's the rakes when you need them?
is pushing the booster again. So, I mean, how many is that? How many do you actually need? This is the part. And
when is going to be enough?
Wait, if it's safe and effective, it's safe and effective, right? Which is fine. But if you need 5 a year to be effective, something's not quite right.
I would absolutely agree with you. And once again, as far as I'm concerned, they can push whatever the hell they like, as long as they don't mandate, and people are able to autonomously make their own decisions as to whether or not they want something. That's where I draw my line, and that's why I have such an issue with what's happened. And even trying to go to America, I still can't go to America, right? If you want to enter the country right now, the United States, you have to submit bodily autonomy. You have to say, no, my body is not mine. You
have to surrender bodily autonomy.
You do. And it's not right, it's not fair, and it shouldn't be the case. And it's not just with this, by the way. I am pro-choice on everything publicly, as in I think people should be able to make their own decisions when it comes to their own medical care, medical treatment, no matter what the consequences. And I don't think that's an extremist position. I think that the mainstream media have tried, and the Biden White House have tried to paint this very fair position as extremist, and I think that something's got to give.
No, 100% behind you.
I mean, are we now telling people who are pro-choice when it comes to the abortion debate that they are extremists, right? Because isn't pro-choice now apparently the default position?
I'll be honest, I've given up on that debate.
But
It's just too complicated. Well, it's too nuanced.
It's far too nuanced.
It's the whole thing's ridiculous. It's like, there are reasons why people need to do certain things, and you got to give them the ability to do that.
Well, exactly.
And to make up rules saying you can do it here but you can't do it there, and the whole thing's just a mess. It really is a massive mess.
It just complicates and complicates and complicates. Whoever 11 says new phase of the pandemic, which it says in the article. Didn't Joe say the pandemic was over? He did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
He did say that. Anyway, let's move on to another mess, shall we? Between Jeremy Clarkson and Meghan.
Right.
Markle.
So there's a couple of things in here. One of the things I want to address is, why is Meghan Markle black?
She isn't.
Yeah. Here's another one. Why is Lewis Hamilton black?
He isn't.
Right. Okay. So, why is it every time a black man and a white woman, or a white woman and a black man produce a child, the child is classified as black?
I honestly don't know.
Because that to me seems racist.
Because it probably is.
Okay. That's just something I wanted to clarify, because,
I mean, I have an even bigger question. In this day and age, in the 21st century, in the year 2022, why is there such a fixation on the colour of people's skin, especially in the Western world?
Well, I can tell you why.
Division, isn't it?
But no, I can tell you why there's a fixation, because the people that aren't white have made it that way.
But then I will say this: the biggest.
That sounds back to front. But if you think about it, the people that are pushing this on every level are either black people, right, or white Democrats in the US.
I was going to say, actually, I would say the biggest demographic pushing this online are self-loathing white people.
Well, but that's a tiny demographic online. But you think about it, the biggest amount of people pushing it is the black community. And the thing is, I still reckon out of the black community, it's only a small proportion that's pushing it.
Of course it is, right?
Because it's like what they say.
Let's go back to
the empty vessel makes most noise.
But let's go back to what I was just saying about, totally normal positions now being trying to be painted as extremists. When I was growing up and when I spent some time living in London and stuff, I never saw people's skin color. I mean, obviously I saw it. I'm not blind, but it never registered as the way I would treat somebody, or it never registered as this is just a person in front of me, because I've always grown up to think that anybody should be treated on an equal footing, and regardless of their colour of their skin, who they pray to, whatever, it's what they do that matters. It's their actions that matter, and how they treat me versus how I will treat them. Whereas I'm now being told that is an extremist position. Being colourblind means you're racist. I keep hearing this. What are you talking about? What are people talking about?
Well, I mean, obviously you're not colourblind, right? And this is the thing that gets me. I mean, I'll be honest. If I'm walking down the street and I see a black man, I usually have to do a double take, because one doesn't see black people very often where I live.
Yeah.
Because Scotland is, believe it or not, still 96% white.
Yeah.
That does include the gingers, yes. And I know technically they might be bordering on translucent, but...
And they also might be bordering on the majority where you are.
No, that's a misnomer. You see, you think... I've seen just as many ginger people in England as I've seen in Scotland.
Okay.
I have. But anyway, so I do a double take, because I'm like, whoa, there's a black guy, and I don't think that's racist. It's just it's not something I normally see, and I think
it's an observation.
Small kids, you know what kids are like. Kids will go, because they don't see these people.
Yeah.
And it's a surprise, right? But you don't treat them any different.
No, you
It's
don't.
just a surprise, and I think it's okay to be surprised. I mean, let's face it. If I was walking down the street and I saw Klaus Schwab, for instance, walking towards me in pantyhose and bra, I would again be surprised.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd probably just give him a nod and go, "You're a brave man."
or what?
But no, he's not a brave man. He's an arsehole. But anyway, the point is, Jeremy Clarkson wrote a column and he did a quote from Game of Thrones, I believe, with regards.
Yeah, well, he kind of did. He bastardized it a bit, but he did. He went all Game of Thrones on her, right?
Yeah, he did, and it was intended as satire.
Yeah, well, probably, but he also, in my view, went all Game of Thrones on her because he thought everybody watched Game of Thrones, more or less, right? And the public hate her, right? So they'll all be behind me.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out, Jeremy? But having said that, that's not a fucking apology.
No, it's not. I appear to have put my foot in it. But the thing is, should he apologise?
I'm not. That's not the question, right? That's not the point. That's not the point here, in my view, right?
Right.
Whether he should apologise or not, I don't care, right? Whether he should have said it in the first place, I don't know. I mean, should he have? Should he not? I mean,
Don't know.
a normal person wouldn't go that far,
Yeah.
right? I mean, one could quite comfortably say, I don't like Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
I think that she's a bit of a fly-by-night or a gold digger or something. You could say that. You know, and I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you could say that, and people wouldn't be that offended by it. You know, and I know, you know, it's their right to be offended, but Clarkson's just he always likes to push things. Right?
He does. He always has done.
And he likes to push things because, to be fair, he's not generally very funny, and he's not generally very accurate, and he's not very relevant.
No, he's not. And do you know what? I think that the format of, and people might have a go at me for this, but I think the format of the Amazon show, the Grand Tour, which is just Top Gear without the studio segments now, it's boring. I think it's stale. I think it's done. It's had its time.
I think you're right, and you have to. I mean, the attention span of people is dropping off. I mean, look at Adam and Vaughn. I mean, they're not that young, and yet their attention span is like that of a gnat.
Yeah, more so than us. Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually not bad. Your attention span's not bad considering your tender youth.
Autism.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, and it's never more obvious than when we're playing a game. Because they're like, oh, shiny, let's go, boom.
Yeah,
oh,
they just
noise,
disappear.
Let's go, boom, yeah.
Whereas you just leave us to fucking die.
Well, you did that wonderfully last night.
Yeah. Sacrifice myself.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to rush. Listen, my training has never been about rushing into a firefight. It's been about assessing the situation and then moving in methodically and carefully.
And then us going on the voice chat. Where are you, John? And just hearing, I'm in a bush.
I'm coming.
I'm in a bush.
I'm coming. I'm usually. To be fair, recently I've got a lot better.
He has. Vaughan says, nothing wrong with my attent. Shiny!
Shiny.
Speaking of attention, let's turn our attention now to Hungary. And is this
not the feeling, the country.
Yeah, well, maybe a bit of both. I'm quite hungry.
Yeah, okay, but I couldn't eat a whole child.
You couldn't eat a whole child. The Prime Minister of Hungary, is that Viktor Orban? Incentive to women. Have 4 kids and never pay income tax again.
That's a good incentive.
I think that's a good incentive indeed.
Now, one may ask, why is he doing this when the world's population is supposed to be running out of control, according to Bill Gates, and we need to depopulate?
Because Bill Gates doesn't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
He's a salesman.
So
he's not a scientist. He's not a doctor. He's a salesman.
Yeah, so why has the Hungary PM done this?
Because
he's done this because he doesn't want to flood his country with immigrants to keep the workforce up.
That's clearly what he wants. Yeah, that's and we're not either endorsing or denouncing that. We're just simply reporting that's what he wants to do, and it's very clear that's what he wants to do because Viktor Orban's been like that for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah. So to keep your country in balance, you've got to have a ratio over 2, don't you, when it comes to breeding?
Yeah.
And if you don't have a ratio over 2, you're losing population. For instance, the UK is at 1.5 just now. We lose population. Therefore, we have 2 choices. We breed more, or we let people in who will breed more.
Yeah.
And what's happening right now? We're letting people in who will breed.
Look, listen,
and they will breed like rabbits.
Listen, John, I'm at 3. I've done my bit.
No, you're not. You're not at 3. You're at 1 point. You're at. You would need 4 kids to be at 2.
Well, I've got 3.
So you're only at 3. You're only at 3. Sorry, you're only at 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah, well, more like 1.6.
So you're actually below. See, this is what happens. But anyway, so there you go.
Oh well, there we go. Let's move on to Colin Rugg, who says, Justin, FBI agent Elvis Chan contacted Twitter just 2 hours after he learned the Hunt and Biden story was going to drop in an apparent attempt to censor it. The FBI was directly working as an asset for the Biden family. Haven't Twitter actually, and other social media companies, it's been discovered now they've taken millions of dollars off of the FBI?
Yeah. Well, right. So first of all, it's not breaking news.
No, it's not. We know all of this.
It's been obvious for a long time. Every other country's done exactly the same thing.
Yep.
Our country has done exactly the same thing, and it's not just Twitter; it's all social media platforms.
Absolutely.
and the MSN. So there's nothing new here, people. If you think that your government is working in your best interest, then you are sorely mistaken.
Sorely mistaken. They don't want you disseminating information or news that might be a hindrance to them. They don't want that. Can't have that, John. Can't have that.
Can't have that at all.
But you're absolutely right. This isn't news. It really, we all knew it. It's just you were called a conspiracy theorist if you said it. It's just another one of those things, isn't it? What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? About 6 months?
Yeah. Speaking of the truth, here's a real scientist.
Yes. Friend of the show, Mark Changizi.
So he's produced a paper.
He has.
And the correlation, which does not prove causation, but the correlation between various harm measures and average mobility during the first year of the pandemic is negative. Now, that means
the restrictions caused more harm than good.
Any restriction that was imposed has done more harm than good.
Well, we already knew that. Once again.
Yes, but this is a published scientific paper.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I will tell you this: every one of our governments, the US government, the UK government, the German government, the French government, had published scientific papers on their desks telling them this would happen before they did it.
They did.
They did. They did.
And then the Telegraph backs it up, doesn't it? Lockdowns weren't needed, says the official inquiry. Countries that did impose lockdowns had significantly worse outcomes than Sweden, whose citizens also retained more personal freedoms.
Oh, what you're telling me that when we were championing Sweden over and over again and being called killers for it, we were right.
Yes, we were right, but we were right at the wrong time.
No, we weren't. For them, we were. For them, we were.
Yeah, for them, we were right at the wrong time. It wasn't acceptable to be right then because that went against the narrative, and we would have been censored on social media platforms like YouTube, like Twitter, like Facebook. In fact, I still think you get censored on Facebook for saying things like this right now. Yeah. But that's an official inquiry that's come out with that.
It doesn't shock me.
If you're censoring us who are producing the news, then you're censoring the government.
Do you know what? We need a thing that I can a new scene we can transition to. It looks just like this, right? But it just has "We were right" flashing up over it over and over again, because we'd be using that a hell of a lot. We would.
Yeah. Well, we would. I mean, we're generally right. We're not wrong often.
No, we're not. And when we are wrong, we're happy to admit it. We're happy to admit it. we knew this would happen. We saw this coming a mile off. I saw this coming before they even imposed these restrictions. I tried to warn people. I tried to warn people of the consequences that these restrictions would cause, and I was shut down, silenced, censored, called every name under the sun. And all I was trying to do, people, was fucking help you.
And here we go with China, right? So China's been pursuing their zero COVID policy, much like Australia and New Zealand did before it. Okay. And at the time when these policies were implemented, I am 100% sure that I said all they can possibly do is delay the inevitable.
Absolutely.
You cannot stop it. All you can do is slow it down and delay it, so it's going to get worse.
Yeah, you know, you're
and
absolutely
what's happened in Australia, their rates are through the roof at the moment, in the middle of summer.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me. It doesn't surprise me.
Summer, right? So Australia and New Zealand screwed the pooch. China's now starting to suffer the same thing. Apparently their hospitals are full. It's hard to tell. Some of the photographs are from 2020.
Yeah.
So now we're getting misrepresentation again. And this is the problem. When you get misrepresentation on either side, it just muddies the waters.
No, you're absolutely right. And speaking of delaying the inevitable, ladies and gentlemen, you all need to put some likes on this video, I think. You've been delaying the inevitable for a while, but I think it does need to appear now to help us in the almighty, holy algorithm. Let us pray to the algorithm, John. The algorithm that will either make or break us. Will make or break us. The algorithm.
Shut up already. It's science.
And if you feel like supporting us a little bit further, you could do so with a donation or a recurring donation, which you can do at patreon.com/chasingdissent or Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/chasingdissent. There is still time to sponsor my balls. And once again,
you want to.
Here is Benjamin's ball. We like
want to.
Sitting nicely near the top of my tree.
Yes, you want to.
And you can do so at the links below. Also, join the Discord. It's free. Adam, please put that in the chat right now. Anyway,
I think he's already done it.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, moving on. Now, see, this is, as we were talking about misinformation, right? Then we get these things coming up again, and we get pictures like this with captions saying this is what Ukrainians are doing to Russians, to Russian citizens that live in Ukraine, or Russian speakers that live in Ukraine. And I don't think that's the case, because these are the same pictures that were used for the Romanies and the Gypsies that get tied to trees and lampposts and things and painted
thing is,
green
we've got a no context, either photo or video. This is obviously a clip from a video. But the context is not there. People have added context.
Well, the context isn't there because I didn't put the context in, but the context is this is what Ukraine does to Russian-speaking citizens.
Yeah.
Its own citizens. That's the context. And I'm saying that's not correct. I think that's misinformation, because I think they do this to Romanies, Gypsies and thieves. I'm not saying that Romanies and Gypsies are thieves, but I think that's what they do to those groups of people. And I think, again, it's misinformation on both sides.
Yes, well, the thing is, with these sorts of things, you just don't know what is true. And speaking of you don't know what is true, let's move on to our next story, which is back home in the UK. It's MP Andrew Bridgen has been suspended from the Commons for 5 days due to breaching lobbying rules. And UNN, Unity Newsnet here, says the truth is being silenced for speaking about mRNA issues, shall we say.
Well, wait, first of all, why would UNN make that statement and not back it up? Where's the backup?
See, obviously correlation does not equal causation. Yeah. The timing is a bit suspicious, I will say that.
Oh, that's right, okay, but the Commons lobbying thing has been ongoing for a little while.
Yes.
It's not like they've just drummed it out of nowhere. It has been in process.
And he's only suspended for 5 days.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not like
the question, my question is, why should he be suspended at all? Because he represents the people, right? So what you have done is you have suspended the people voice for the region that he represents for 5 days. Doesn't matter about him. You've suspended their voice for 5 days. That's not right. You're punishing the people who elected him for his transgressions. So if you think he needs to be punished, then you need to put him back to his boss, who are the people who elected them, and either get him re-elected or get someone else in. That's what you need to do. Don't fucking suspend them.
I agree. You're absolutely right. And speaking of other things that are just mind-blowing,
and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why he's been suspended, right?
No.
Regardless of what he's done, whether it's a sexual assault or sexual improclivity, drunk driving, or talking about things that the government don't want you to talk about, or breaching lobbying rules, doesn't matter. The solution is simple. You put them back in front of their boss.
No, you're absolutely
and you let
right.
them decide.
Whoever 11 says John for mayor.
I'm not black enough.
Jesus Christ. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have to speed up a little bit through these next stories. So we're going to be a bit more quippy than usual because we are only about the halfway point of the...
Don't worry about it. The last section's quite funny stuff, and the funny stuff goes faster.
So let's move on to... I don't know if this is good or sad or what. I can't get my head around this. NHS to spend £100,000 teaching staff how to talk to pregnant transgender men.
Why? Because they will never, ever meet one.
I don't understand, because they want to use terms like chest feeding instead of breastfeeding, but
why?
But do they not?
You can't.
But the thing is, if they still have breasts, then what's the issue with using the term breastfeeding? Because the breast would be present.
Well, exactly. Have you ever tried milking a bull?
Can't say I have. John?
And if you were successful, you probably wouldn't want to drink it. But the question is, why do this in the face of biology?
Yeah, but not
in the face of science. Why do all this shit?
Let's just put a pin in that, though. Let's not go so deep into this, right?
Okay.
We don't need to go that deep into it. Why are they spending our money, £100,000 of our money, basically brainwashing people to talk differently? Why are they doing that? Because
they need more money.
I mean,
if they don't spend it all, they don't get it, do they?
No, they don't. But, I know I turned a lot of people off with my NHS rant last week. I know I did, right? I know I upset some people. We got some backlash from some guy called Tony, if you remember that, John. But
that was welcomed.
It was welcome, but I think things like this. Sorry, but I think things like this are totally bolstering the point I made. Yeah. If they have £100,000 to spend on this nonsense, and it is nonsense. If they have £100,000, they could take that £100,000 and hire maybe two new frontline nurses.
Yeah. Hey, you're preaching to the converted. I mean, anybody with half a brain, anybody even with a brain the size of a dog's, never mind a chimp's, or even the brain the size of a cat, right, knows that the NHS's problem is it's hopelessly mismanaged.
Well, yeah, because this is a prime example of that. This is a prime example of that. And because you know what? If people want to be empathetic to somebody, and so say they have a transgender man, or trans man, or whatever you want to call this type of person, if they want to be empathetic, they don't need £100,000 worth of training to be empathetic. I don't understand. This isn't about teaching people to be kind or be nice. This is £100,000 essentially threatening people and saying you will speak like this.
Yeah, it's brainwashing. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's 1984 dystopian, terrifying shit, and we're paying for it. We're paying for it.
So we might not need to. Because they're saying there's a doomsday asteroid about to hit the Earth this February and wipe out the population. And then, of course, they go and spoil it by putting apparently. Well, apparently not.
Yeah. Well,
right? Because if you go to the tracker, right, it gets close. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It gets close. It gets to 1.4 times lunar distance.
No, nowhere near close enough then.
No, it's still about 350 million miles away.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it looks close when you look at it because it's merged, on the tracker, but it looks close, but it's not going to hit us.
No, but this is another scare story, isn't it? And I guarantee you there are still contingency plans to put up, important people in bunkers and shit like that, but that won't work, ultimately. That won't work.
Well, speaking about putting people in bunkers or prisons, he's still banging on about it.
So is this new?
This was published yesterday. He said this yesterday.
But do you know what? I'm going to counter this by saying it's time to send Sean Penn to jail.
Yeah, I think so too, because I would have said, if he'd said it, well, he said this last year, because we know he said it last year, because we reported on it.
Yep.
But he's still doubling down on it. He's still banging on about it. It is time to send him to jail, because what's he got to do with him in the first place?
No,
Look at him.
I'm going
Look at the state of him.
I'm going to put myself big screen because I would like to address a message directly to Sean Penn.
Go for it.
Good afternoon, Mr. Penn. If you see this, good. If you don't see this, you're still a twat.
Speaking of twats...
I'm not finished.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not finished.
I thought you had. I apologise.
You have no idea what you're talking about, Sean. You play pretend for a living. That's what you do. You play pretend. You're not a doctor. You're not a scientist. And ultimately, you don't control what other people do. If you do not wish to be around people that have not had certain vaccinations, remove yourself from the situation, Sean. It's not up to you where other people go and what other people do. Also, we know the deal with transmission, so what you're talking about, you dumb fuck. Let's move on.
That's fucking Snoopy. Isn't it? That's Snoopy wearing the helmet.
It is, yeah. It is. It is Snoopy. That is Snoopy. I mean, do you think I was too harsh on Sean?
No, I thought you were harsh enough.
I mean, yeah. He is a dumb fuck, right?
Yeah, he is. So apparently they found 168 mysterious new geoglyphs in Peru's Nazca lines. So I'll need to have some more digging into it, but I put that one up because that's fucking Snoopy.
It really is. Do you know what? Snoopy may be a timeless character, John.
Well, you got to question, where did he get the inspiration? So maybe there's patent pending on Snoopy before he got there.
Oh, what on the ground? The Nazca lines. Nazca lines are pretty cool, though, aren't they? They are pretty cool.
Yeah.
They are pretty cool. Shall we move on anyway to Mr. Oh God, he's really in here.
Yeah, he is.
Mr. I apparently have a charity, John Bow.
Yeah.
Still waiting for confirmation of that. But
right. So
I hope it's true.
Can you read that?
It says, just listen to what the man says. If you still defend the mRNA treatment, I can't help you, JB. And then I can't read that next bit. Can you read that next bit out?
That's a shame, because the next bit, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
2 6.
Are you putting a new slide in?
No, I'm trying to blow it up.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're doing it. Look, there you go. See that? Right. John's editing the slides as we speak.
So the tweet that he's talking about is the National Highways West Midlands.
Yep.
We're aware that sets on internet-based mapping systems are reporting that the southbound M6 is closed between Junction 14 and Junction 13 near Stafford. This is not the case. The carriageway remains fully open.
So what is is John
freaking lost it?
Is he a bot? John Bot?
Did he
delete this?
Yes, he did. But he didn't delete it fast enough, did he? Because I got it.
Johnny boy, are you okay?
Yeah.
Do we need to start calling round some homes?
I think he might be having a stroke. Maybe he's doing a Biden.
Do we need to have a whip round so that we can, find him a nice place to go?
Possibly. Now, the next one, I'm going to have to preface it with that this may not be true, but it was too good not to put up. It comes from the local newspaper in Virginia. Sorry, not Virginia. Cincinnati.
In Ohio, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell was going on there, and I can't understand it. It might be a mental breakdown or something, but apparently she lost consciousness while attempting this. I can understand why.
I've got nothing.
I'm going to finish. Yeah.
If this is true,
I know it's a mental case if it's true, and we shouldn't be mocking it.
whoever 11 says only in America.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Right.
Some real crazy shit happens. Whoa. They're just
So,
in the next
I'm going to finish on the World Cup.
We got a couple of slides on the World Cup today, have we?
So I take it this guy won the best goalkeeper, right?
The Golden Glove.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure why he felt the need to remonstrate in such a way.
Do you know what?
It does look a bit rude.
People do the darndest things when they're celebrating, don't they?
Yeah, but even down to the expression on his face.
Look, he is all in on that miming of the sexual act here with the Golden Glove. And I think the Qataris there in front of him, they just don't know what to do. Look at him. Look at the Qatari guy behind him.
I know, the guy's like...
You know,
I have no idea.
say what you will about the Qataris, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That guy behind him looks like a perfect human representation of the Pringles can.
Does he?
With the mustache, and it looks like a Pringles can.
I'm going to have to review that. But anyway, now the next one is a question of when tattoos maybe don't quite live up to your expectations.
Yeah.
Because it appears we now have Messi about to give relief to a giant malformed penis.
Probably not too far from the truth. I wonder what these boys get up to. I was going to say, I wonder what these boys get up to in the locker room.
What the fuck was the tattoo artist thinking?
I think the tattoo artist was having a right laugh whilst he was doing this.
I think they might have been.
Because that is very clearly not the World Cup.
No.
That is very clearly not the World Cup, John.
Yeah.
Is that the last slide?
Yeah, that was the last slide, mate. There you go.
We've gone to finishing early. I thought we was going to run late.
I told you not to worry.
The
quick ones, the funny ones always go faster.
Adam's put a Wikipedia article to the Pringles can. Should I try and bring it up? See what we got.
Well, if it's Wikipedia, it'll be wrong.
Yeah, probably. Give me a sec. There we go. You guys can't see it. Let me go here. Yeah, you can kind of see it down on the. Yeah, look, he's the Pringles. He's the Pringles guy. Anyway, so whoever 11 says time to take some pins out of things. What should we take some pins out of for the next 5 minutes then? That's not a bad idea.
Oh, come on, he's not like the Pringles guy.
Oh, shut up.
The Pringles guy's got a big bushy moustache. That guy's got
Fine,
it's a fine goatee.
Fine,
the Pringles guy looks like something out of the Wild West.
Fine, it's a Guy Fawkes mask. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's more like a V for Vendetta, yeah.
Yeah, Guy Fawkes mask. There you go. I was trying to have a funny. I was trying to have a joke. Obviously, it didn't stick. Obviously, it didn't fucking land, right?
Yeah, just take the pin back out of that one, mate.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I will take the pin back out of that one. Anyway, I shall spend the next minute or two shilling for tomorrow night's show. Then, obviously, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. we have the Chasing Dissent Christmas Bash. No news, no politics, just you guys talking about what you want. Also, whoever 11 says Ben's so deflated and defeated because Pringles. Fuck off. Anyway, and me performing some music for you all. We're going to have a laugh. That's what we're going to do. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to have a good time. And the fundraising to my personal PayPal will be open to try and send me on holiday. I would like to go on holiday, John.
Yes, wouldn't we all?
I will sing for a holiday. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
I'll sing for a holiday. I want to go on holiday. I need it. I need a break. But I do promise you that if I do get to go on holiday, I will still come and perform in at least one show while I'm away. Adam will replace me for the rest, but I'll do at least one.
So fucking happy.
Do you want John, I was also thinking, if you so would indulge me, that if I do get to go away, yeah, I fucking hate Pringles beats greats. Anyway, if I do get to go away, then whilst you are and Adam are doing one of the shows, you could bring in your roving reporter, and I could report live with video from wherever I am.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe not.
We could up the quality a little bit. I'm standing here in place unnamed. Look at this. It's amazing. It's a good sight. It's good to see.
Yeah, whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we come to.
Put a pin in it. Speaking of putting pins in or taking pins out of things, there is still time. You will not get it in time for Christmas, but there is still time to go to chasingdissent.com/shop to see the first of our merch drops. The biggest thing we've got right now is the go away pajamas. Isn't that right, John?
I believe so.
The go away pajamas. You ladies, if you are feeling not in the mood and your partner, be that male or female, would like to get a little bit close, then just simply slip on the go away pajamas. You will get a picture of John's face on there and a little caption underneath. What does that caption say, John?
It says no.
I think it sends the perfect message.
And I've got a slightly angry picture as well. Slightly angry.
He does. It's like,
no.
No. No. So I'm going to be spending the evening building a Frankensteinian sound rig for tomorrow night's show. And then I've got to test that and make sure it all works. And I might even pre-record the entire show just so that I can not do it live. I haven't decided yet, but I'll probably do it live, to be honest. But I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to go and have a game, which I am happy to stream on the other channel, if you would like to join me, John.
When are you doing this?
Tonight.
Maybe.
Yeah. Keep an eye on 100 Acre Swamp, our second channel.
Maybe
If you have not subscribed there, go ahead and subscribe there. Number 100 Acre Swamp. Insane.
And with that, I'd like to thank you, one and all, for attending this episode 177. 177?
It's fantastic, isn't
Chasing
it?
Dissent Live with me, John, and Ben, your ever ebullient host. It's been great. For you.
Christmas, all the Christmas trees on fire. Santa's holding the lighter. My parents are both liars. I got gifts, but one subscribers. Thanks for the candy basket. Oh, got another jacket. My stocking's filled with acid. Am I dreaming? What just happened?